Hi, my name is Manya. Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I read a lot of books and I recently finished reading a very talked about book on Instagram or in the book community. The book is The Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And today I'm going to review this book and I have a lot to say. So stay tuned. Book is about two journalists who are thrown into competition by a rich old socialite who is now in hiding, and only these two people had the opportunity to like run into her or find her. You'll know when you read it. So these two people get the opportunity to meet her, and what she does is that she meets both of them and she tells both of them that I will give interviews to both of you for an entire month. I'll pay you for an entire month, both of you, and at the end of the month I'll decide who among the two of you deserve to write my story, or based on the interview experience. So it's like a competition. So the guy journalist is a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, and the girl is like a normal journalist. So initially, the girl is like, okay, what is this competition? He seems to be the clear winner, but she still wants to compete because it's her dream job. She wants to talk to this socialite. The socialite's ex husband, who's dead, was a great singer, and the girl's parents were the singer's fans, and they used to listen to his songs. So she is really interested in this project for this reason, among others also. And the guy is a mystery at the beginning. So since both of these people are stuck on an island with the socialite, they run into each other a lot. The island is small, so they happen to be staying close to each other, or they into each other at restaurants. And of course, love blossoms. Enemies to lovers, classic. Something about this deal, this interview, this competition thing is not sitting right with both of them at different parts, but they somehow get busy with each other or fighting their feelings for each other, etc. So the book is basically, this is the whole premise of the book. Like, there's a competition, these two folks are going to compete to write the big book, the because the socialite was in hiding, so it's a big break for anyone. Even for the Pulitzer Prize winning one, it's a good project. So both of them are confused, but they still are going with it. But slowly things start to not add up, especially the girl. So the girl's point of view is what the reader reads. So the girl is confused about a few things and she's thinking, blah, blah, blah. All of that is going on. This is like my second Emily Henry book. And I know a lot of people are great Emily Henry fans and they love her romance, and they say that nobody does romance like her because it's not cliche, etc. And the one book that I read earlier, it was years ago, I also felt the same, like the romance was not cringe. So that goes here also. But unlike other Emily Henry books, this is not a purely romance book, because there's this socialite angle and the interview angle and the historical uh, research angle via the socialite, etc. The book has characters that are so well drawn out that I was like, I really enjoyed reading, like the girl, the guy, their childhoods, the socialite story, like whoever she's talking about, she starts from the beginning. She says that every detail is important, which is like, generational trauma, generational wealth, everything. Like every story doesn't start from us, it starts way back. And that's how the entire book is like, they're exploring each character's nuances and each character's backstory. And I really like it when that happens, because that's really important for a reader to understand what it's about and to get invested in characters, or not invested, like we decide how we like or dislike a character based on these details. So all of that was provided and very well, and very nuanced and very in depth. Like it felt like an emotionally rich story and an emotionally mature author writing the story. The romantic tension was real. There was spice also in the book, by the way. So the romantic tension was real, the build up was real, and it was not cliche cringe, as I mentioned earlier. And it was a good type of story, like at least for me. I It's not like I don't like romance, it's just that I don't like books that are based on the romantic story. I like romance as a subplot, but I love it. Like as a subplot, I love it. And in most books that I read, there is like a romance subplot, especially in fantasy books. I like fantasy as a genre. So here, even though it's a romance book by a romance author, the romance is a subplot, a very well written subplot, but a subplot nonetheless. And I think that's what I liked about the book, I guess, because there was a mystery when it came to the socialite and what she was saying to those two, and why was the competition even happening, and what's the reason that she has chosen these two people. Yes, all of this was pretty interesting, and this was what hooked me. And because these elements were there, I was really looking forward to, just getting the socialites bit aside, like just read it, and then I was looking forward to what's happening with these two characters because it was too realistic, and I was rooting for them, obviously. And the beach setting and the island setting was really fun. Like, who doesn't want to have a work trip on an island, and it's a 1 month long trip, and among in that 1 month, every week only 3 days you are actively working, and the other days you are exploring the area, and you are obviously working on what you've got from those interviews. So that was really nice to read. I got transported to the island with these characters. I got to experience, it felt like I was in Goa, like trying restaurants. Okay, what's for breakfast? Let's go to this cafe. What's for lunch? Let's go here. So that exploratory vibe was really nice, and I felt like I was traveling, and it was like a work trip travel that everybody wants, fully paid for. So that fantasy was like really well done by Emily Henry. So the elements of work, the vacation, the love story, the history, the mystery, the research, all of that was pretty cool. And what I realized was, as I finished the book, that throughout the book, the hint of mystery was very real, very small. Like it was real, but it was very small. That yeah, there's something, but okay, whatever. The characters are ignoring it, so we are also ignoring it. We are taking it as the characters are taking it, and that's something that I think is commendable and is not very easy to do, I guess, because we could have seen that as like a loophole, right? Like, why is the character not exploring this much? Because this seems like something, but the author was very covert about it, and I like that bit. And other than that, there were the background story of the main characters was also very well explored. Like these characters, obviously everybody has a childhood, so when they were talking to each other, they were discussing about that, how their childhoods shaped them. And unlike conversations among normal people that I see happening in real life, people are like, oh, bachpan se to kuch nahi hota, and childhood doesn't matter. Oh, it's way in the past. But these two folks were really mature. They were talking about their childhood, and they were like, okay, this shaped you. Yeah, okay, this affects you. So all of that was there, which was really like breezy. It wasn't adding a lot of weight to the story or like to the character's mood, but it was there and it was being discussed. And when the socialite herself is giving interviews to these two people, those interactions were very quirky, very fun. And she's an old lady, but she has her, a charm about her, and that's pretty evident when you are reading it. And when she's telling her backstory, she is a badass. Like that old woman was a badass when she was younger. She was fierce, she used to protect her people, and she would give anything for her sister. And that's another thing I really like, that the sisterhood, the siblinghood, because I personally feel that siblings are a very important bond. Because I read a quote somewhere that your life partners come in too late and your parents leave you too early, god forbid, and it's only the siblings that are your like real life partners throughout. And that's something that I saw reflected in this story, where the socialite, the Margaret, is what she's named, would do anything for her sister in her young days. That is when she was talking about it. And also there was a cult angle, and the cult angle, like most rich people, sometimes you'll see in on news also, they start following something that's like a big group. So here also, like the there was a cult angle. I'll not reveal too much. I'll leave it for you guys to read and see. So the cult angle was explored, how one of the relatives of the socialite gets drawn into it and gets trapped into it, and how she's gotten out. And 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 we often criticize rich people, criticize big people, criticize famous people, but their lives are so scary. Like, they are being followed by paparazzi everywhere. Their private life is not private, especially the pop star life, or like really crazy big people's lives. They're so, like Taylor Swift for example, and like big musicians like the Beatles and the likes, Elvis Presley. So their lives are so scary, and they are humans too. And what's explored is that the popular story on the newspaper might say XYZ about a very rich person, about their tiny actions, and what the real story is what the characters find out in the interviews. So when the main character, the girl, is taking her interview, she is first taking the interview, and then she's summarizing like what the media said and what is actually what happened according to the socialite, to the rich old lady. So that was nice to read. One bone to pick that I had was that sometimes the interviews are shown, and then the interviewer is summarizing that interview, like the main girl character is summarizing those interviews. And sometimes she's straight up like thinking about something, and she's like there's a flashback of the interview where she's just telling us, summarizing. So the format was like up and down, which I didn't really like, or I don't know if I missed something. So if you have read that book, please let me know. So that's one thing that confused me a bit, like the format should have been similar, but I think maybe it was done to engage the reader. So maybe it was just me who got confused, but whatever, that happened. So it confused me a little. And yeah, there's a mystery, there's a love story, there's a beach vacation going on. And I think I enjoyed this book. Apart from the little confusing bit, I would recommend this book. And this book really reminded me of Taylor Jenkins' work. The two books, Daisy Jones and the Six and the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, are on similar lines. Like, famous people are being interviewed and telling their story, and that story is sort of being compared to what the newspapers were writing about them. And the undercurrent being that they are also human, like, leave them be. So if you liked these two books, Daisy Jones and Evelyn Hugo, I think you'll enjoy this one. This one just has more romance and more like mush thrown in, but it's a good read. If you liked watching this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And see you in the next video.